Okay, so tonight we're going to do measures of central tendency, which is just a fancy way of saying mean, median, mode, and range. Or range isn't a measure of central tendency, but it's included in there a lot. And those are things you've already done. This is really just going to be a review. Of all the things you bring into my classroom, you are the best at this part. So the mean, of course, refers to the average. The median is the middle. And the mode is the one that occurs the most. Mode, most. Median, middle, mean, average. Okay? Those are the key words. And then this part, we'll do this on the foldable. All that goes into the foldable. Alright, so finding the measures of central tendency, we need to find the mean, median, mode of these scores. Which measure of central tendency best describes the scores? Alright, so for the mean, what you want to do is add them all together and divide by the number of numbers that's there. So if I add them all together, let's do 104 plus 117 plus 104 plus 136 plus 189 plus 109 plus 113 plus 104. And I get 976. And then I want to divide it by how many numbers are there. And it looks like there's 8. And I get 122. So I divide it by 8 and I get 122. Now you always want to check and make sure that makes sense. Does that make sense as an average for these numbers right here? Kind of like if you made all A's on your grades, but then when I give you your average and it's a 62, you know something's not right. Okay? It's kind of the same thing. So that's your mean. You just add all the numbers up and divide by the number that's there, and that gives you your average. The median is the middle number, but I need y'all to understand it's not the middle number that's there in the way they give you the numbers. It's the middle number when you put it in numerical order. So you got to do that first. So let's go ahead and write that out in numerical order. The lowest number is 104, and it actually shows up 3 times. So I think you could probably go ahead and tell me the mode too. Which one shows up the most? So it's going to be that one, and that one. And then the next highest number is 109. And then the next highest number is 113. And then the next highest number is 117. Then 136, and then 189. So it jumps up real high from 136 to 189. So that tells me that's an outlier. And I'm going to write that out above it. Anytime you see a number that's way outside of the data set, that's an outlier. Okay, so the median is going to be the middle number. And now this is an even set of numbers. So what I like to do is go ahead and mark from the outside in, and then when I get the middle number or the 2 middle numbers, I'll have my median. Now, when I have 2 middle numbers, I have to add them together and then divide by 2 because you have to find the mean of the 2 middle numbers. So we'll do 109 plus 113 and then divide by 2 and I get 111. So that is going to be your median. And now your mode is the number that shows up the most, and that's obviously going to be 104. Now if they all show up the same amount of times, then there is no mode. You just put no mode. If there's multiple modes, like maybe let's say 109 showed up 3 times too, then you would list all of the modes. Okay? If they all show up 3 times, then list all of them. Now, which measure of central tendency best describes the scores? Is it 122, the average? Is it 111, the median? Or is it 104, the mode? Now, to me, I would say it's definitely not the mode because that's the lowest score that they had. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's not the mode. Then, if you'll go back, rewind it to where we had the chart telling you when to use it, it said to not use the mean whenever you had an outlier. And I pointed out right here that we do have an outlier, so it's not going to be the mean either. So in this case, it must be the median. And if you look, 111 does represent this set of scores much better than either of the other two numbers. The mean would be up here somewhere, and there's only two numbers bigger than that. The mode's way down here, and it's the lowest. And the median would be right here in the middle of the whole set of scores. So the median is the best measure. Okay, so now let's talk about how we could use this. And we'll use something that you know a lot about, your grades. So you took 3 tests and you got an 80, a 93, and a 91. What grade do you need on the next exam to have an average of a 90? So there's a few ways that you can do this. If you're going to take the average, then you're going to add all the numbers up, plus this test you don't know about. So I've got all 3 of my tests plus the tests I don't know about. And then I'm going to divide by 4, and I'm going to get an average of 90. So if I solve this equation, the last thing I did was divide by 4. So the first thing I'm going to undo is the division by 4, and I'm going to multiply by 4. So that's starting to make this whole thing look a little easier. So it's going to be 360. And then this, all that right there adds up to 264. That helps. So now we'll just subtract 264, and I get 96. So that means that I need to make a 96 on my next test so that I can have an A in the class. Okay? So this is not your guided question, but here's an example question down here that you can try to figure out 80, 93, and 91. Same as up here, but I need to have an 88 average. We won't do this part. So all you have to do for that question down there is take what we had, but instead of 90, we're going to put in an 88. And I want you to do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to multiply by 4. That's still 264 plus x. And if you multiply by 4, 88 times 4, you get 352. So subtract 264, and you get 88. So to make an 88 on the average, I need to make an 88 on the test. Okay? Now finding the range. So the range of a data set is how far it covers. So to find the range, what you need to do is take the biggest number and subtract the smallest number. Pretty much, that's all. This question asks for the range and the mean. So for stock A, we're going to take the biggest minus the smallest. So the range will be 47 minus 25, which is 22. The mean is going to be all of them added together, so 25 plus 30 plus 30 plus 47 plus 28, all divided by 5, which is 32. And then stock B, the biggest is 36 and the smallest is 28. So the range is going to be 8. And then your mean is going to be, again, 160 over 5, which again is going to be 32. Now we want to compare the data sets. So, as you can see, they have the same mean, same average, so what does that mean? Their stocks are very much different. Looks to me like this one has an outlier because it goes from 30 all the way to 47. So we really don't want to use that as a good indicator of our data. This one over here, I think the mean is a good indicator because they're all very close together. The range being so different here and so small here, so big here and so small here, tells you that because I have an outlier, because the numbers are so far apart, I don't know that the mean's going to be a good indicator. Here, my numbers are pretty close together, so this probably is a good indicator. Okay? Alright, so now that you know how to find all of them, I want you to do the got it questions. Find the mean, median, and mode of each data set. Number 1 and 2. And then number 3, I need you to figure out what's the minimum grade he must get on the last test to have a 90 average, which is almost exactly like the problem I did. So definitely go back and look at it if you have trouble. Okay, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. I hope you don't. Not because I don't want to hear from you, but because I feel like you know how to do it. Okay? If I don't hear from you tonight, I will definitely see you tomorrow.